welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see. And if you have any suggestions, opinions, what would you like to see different, please leave in the comments below. I'll be more than glad to create it for you and teach you how it can be done. I want to thank every single one of you right from the start. When I started, you guys have been amazing supporting me and your beautiful comments. Thank you so much. It's also very important to remind you guys that if the video is too fast for you, right up top there's 3 little buttons. You can click there, slow down the video to the speed you would like. Next to it there's a closed caption. You can turn that on. Everything I'll be calling out the stitch will be written down here. You can pause, take notes. If you don't know how to do any of that, which is very simple, in the description box there's a little arrow right below, like a V, below the video. Click there, and that opens up, and it gives you all the details. You can just click on the link that it says how to slow down the video. I also want to ask of you to please consider donating yarn, thread, or funds for the women desperately in need of thread or yarn. They can't afford to buy. They have no means for it. I keep getting asked over and over if I can help. I cannot do it by myself. I can't stress enough to ask you guys on each video I create to ask you for your help. Below the video, there's a little bag money sign. You can leave anything you'd like. Anything counts. It adds up at the end. If everybody pitches in a few bucks here and there, it's, already good enough to get me started to send out thread for these women. In the description box, I also have my PayPal, which you can deposit there yourselves, whatever amount you'd like. Nobody's asking for millions. I would like you guys to put yourselves for 2 seconds in someone's shoes that cannot afford to buy not even one little roll of thread or yarn to create something simple as a flower, which doesn't take that much, or a granny square. It doesn't take that much thread or yarn. It is quite difficult and heartbreaking knowing that these women are in desperate need, and I cannot do it by myself. I'm asking you please to consider, put yourselves in their shoes for 2 seconds. We are very limited in this world. We're not going to bring anything with us when we're gone. The least we can do is help somebody, even if it's one person. We already did our part on helping. Please donate and help. If you want to send, please have a hold of me through Instagram message. I'll give you their name, their address. You can ship it out to them. Some of these women are in islands that have no access to certain sizes of thread or colors of thread. The least we can do is ship them, a few of them. Get them busy. These people suffer through poverty, through mental health, no means of buying. Some are, caregivers with their families, and they create certain patterns and sell to support their families. Let's get together and do this together. I'm asking you, please. So find it in your heart to at least help out. And thank you so much for the ones that already have done their deeds. Thank you. So grateful. So let's get started, everyone. Thank you again for all your support, and please don't forget to give it those thumbs up. It's very important for the video to get circulated. The only way it's going to get circulated and recognized by YouTube is by having those thumbs up and commenting or sharing the video so other people can discover it. This is how they circulate quite often. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get started. Oh, and before I forget, most of the time I use 3.5 or a 3, sometimes a 4 hook, little one to tuck in loose ends, and of course a pair of scissors. I also like to mention, before I forget, I do have a crochet group on Facebook, a private group. If you do have a profile, you're more than welcome to join us in my group. And I do have also a crochet page in Facebook. I'll link everything below. Also, I have Instagram. I'll link it below. And I do have TikTok. I'll link it below. So there's my email. You have all these options to get a hold of me one way or the other. Okay, just a reminder to let you know. Okay, everyone. So we're going to start to create the doily. For the table, for any place you'd like to put it in. I had just finished doing the upload on the flowers that I had created for this doily, and I did 4 of it's 8 flowers. I did 4 with the multicolored green, and I did 4 with this lighter shaded green, just to, you know, give it a few touch here and there differently on the pattern. Okay, so I'll leave the link below to the flowers if you missed it. You'll need 8 of them. Okay, and I'm going to use this off-white. It's cream. It's not off-white, it's a cream color to create the doily. 4-ply, 100% cotton thread. This is like Aunt Lydia number 3. 3.5 scissors, small hook to tuck in loose ends. And I usually, at the end, I block my patterns with laundry softener. It doesn't matter which one it is. You just spray it on the pattern, stretch it with your hands, leave it flat in an area to let it dry, and it's like stunning. You'll thank me for it. Okay, so we're going to get started. This is going to be very easy. It just takes a little bit longer is to create the flowers, obviously, because, you know, it's delicate, it's a little detailed, very simple to create, but it takes a bit of work, of course, you know, but you want something really nice, so you have to put the work into it, right? So let's get started, everyone. So the first thing you want to do is make that magic circle. Put it into position. If you can't still do the magic circle, then do 6 chain and close it in with slip stitch. Okay, I leave a bit always, actually that was too much, but anyway, no problem, because we need to tuck in these loose ends. Once you're going to go wash it, you can have your pattern fall apart, right? So make sure you have extra to tuck in the loose ends and give it a few knots at the end. So chain 3 will equal a double crochet. Inside of the space, we're going to do 16 double crochets, and I'll meet you at the end. So I've done my 16 double crochet. I'm going to pull on my magic circle and close in the little hole. It stays nice and enclosed in. So I'm coming in my 3rd chain with a slip stitch. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets per space. So you're going to have 32 double crochets. So go up, chain 3 on the same space, another double crochet. Next space, which is the double crochet right next to it. Sometimes it stays hidden because of that chain that we go up that we started, right? So you have to make sure you have your 32 double crochets. Next space, 2 together again. So it's 2 per space, 32 at the end. So, and then we're going to close it in on the 3rd chain up top, slip stitch. I'll meet you at the end. So I've done my 32 double crochet. I'm going to grab right the 2 loops right in the center. So you're going to have these 2 loops in the back. Never grab only one, because then you won't be able to close your pattern properly. It's going to leave a space in between a big mark, so you've got to really go deep in there. Okay, now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. This is row 2 in the same space, another double crochet, 2 chain in the same space, 2 more double crochets. So we're creating groups of 2 double crochets in the same space, separate. So now we're going to do 1 chain. We're going to skip 1, 2, and 3. Now make sure, because we've been up chain 3 right on top of this double crochet, this one usually stays hidden. Make sure you count that as 1, 2, 3. On your 4th space, we're going to create those 2 groups of double crochet, 2 chain for space, and 2 more double crochet inside of the same space. Okay, again, chain 1, skip 1, 2, 3, come into your 4th and create the 2 groups of 2 double crochet, 2 chain, and 2 more double crochet. Okay, so we're supposed to end up with 8 groups until the end. We're going to close it up on the 3rd chain with the slip stitch. Okay, so I've closed in with the slip stitch on the 3rd chain. We're going to row 3. I'm going to do the walk, I call it the walk, to the next double crochet with a single chain 2. Inside of the space, I'm going to create 2 more double crochets. So we're always going to skip the first double crochet and the last double crochet. Chain 2 inside of the same space, 2 more double crochet. So we're increasing, but we're decreasing on the sides here, so we don't do the first or the last. Okay, so we started with 2, 3, next row 4, 5, 6, and the good thing about this pattern is you can go as long as you like, of course, until a certain point, because the flowers have to fit in to to be added around the pattern. Okay, so now we're going to come directly inside of the space of 1 chain here and do a double crochet. And again, skip the first, going to the 2nd, double crochet, and 2 inside of the space. So very simple. Now with this pattern, what's perfect about it is you can create a big one for the centerpiece of the table and 2 small ones for the sides that you can put your candles, your potpourri, your fruits, your I don't know, whatever you usually put on the side of your centerpiece of the table. It's perfect. So again, into the center here of the 1 chain and create a double crochet. We're going to proceed this way all the way around the same way and lock in the 3rd space after we do our double crochet here with a slip stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. So we finished doing row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, coming into row 5. So we're always going to do that walk over to the next double crochet, because we always skip the first and the last. Single, chain 2, next space, double crochet, and 2 inside of the center here, chain 2, again back into the center, and 2 double crochets, and then again next space and next space. So now you should have your 4 double crochets together. Now, for some of you that have still a very hard time with the front post, back post, it's very simple. But if you still cannot, you can go right on top of this double crochet. I'm going to do a front post, so I'm coming in from the side. I mean, how simple is this? From this side into the other side, and do your double crochet, and that's your front post. Skip the first double crochet like I've mentioned, and continue to do 1 per space and 2 inside of the center. Chain 2 for space and 2 more double crochet. 1 on top of the double crochet from the previous row, and next space the same thing. And again, front post, so from the side to the side, and just do your double crochet. Skip the first double crochet, come into the 2nd. Okay, so continue to do yours. I'll do mine, and I'll meet you at the end. We're going to close it in after doing the front post with a slip stitch on the 3rd chain. So I've closed mine with a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going into row 6. Do the walk over to the next double crochet, single, 2 chain, and repeat exactly the same thing as we just finished doing. So this is just the repeat of row 5. The only difference is no difference, it's a repeat. You don't do the first, you don't do the last. 2 chain space, 2 more double crochet in the same space, and 1 per space, And now we don't do the last double crochet, we're going to do the front post again. Skip the first, going to the second, and we're going to repeat everything all over again. Very simple, nothing to it. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. We are in row 6, so we have 2, 4, 5 double crochets. Okay, so I finished doing row 6, going into row 7. So I'm going to do the walk again to the next space with a single, chain 2, and I'm going to repeat exactly the same thing as I just did on the previous row. So 1 per space, 2 in the center, 2 chain space, 2 more in the center. It's exactly the same thing. So one per space again, front post, and skip the first double crochet. And we're going to continue on. So I'll meet you at the end. We're going to go into row 8. Will be exactly the same thing as we just finished doing. Now, is it row 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, row 8. So we're doing exactly the same thing. And row 9, I'm changing color, will be my last row, okay? Now, if you want to go a little bit bigger, you can by adding a couple more rows in. Remembering when you're adding here, you have to add afterwards on the flower also. And what I mean by the flower, I have one started here. So we're going to have to work with the same color around this. And we're going to have to do a few rows in order to attach it here to the pattern. Okay, so continue yours. We're going to do the front post just the same. And I'll meet you in row 9. So I've cut my thread. I'm coming in the back loops and passing my thread through it so nothing comes apart. And you can actually give it a knot or two in the bottom here by passing your thread over in the bottom, I should say, and just make a knot on it. And then pass your thread again so you don't have just a knot standing there. Can you tell my poor hook is soiled and rusted? But it's my favorite to work with for so many years, right? Okay, and this one we can tuck in because we don't need it anymore. So we'll just come behind the loops back here. Most of you know, but there's always beginners, so they need to know these little techniques because there's nothing like a pattern with the proper closing of it, especially for the people that are either giving away or selling it, right? People that buy, they notice the final results on this, and it's very important to have it well finished, right? And perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my salmon color. We're going to repeat this last row exactly the same way as we've been doing. You can either do it with whatever color base of flower or with the green. I'm coming into the second. Remember, we always skip the first double crochet, so we must come into the second. I'm trying to hide my thread here at the same time. So I'm going to do a single and chain 2 into the next space as I'm hiding my thread, double crochet. So we're repeating that. After this we can cut our thread and we're going to proceed with the flowers. Okay, the attachment of the flowers. Two inside of the space as we've been doing, chain 2 and 2 more inside of the space. Continue to proceed the same way. Do your front post and I'll meet you at the end. Remembering not to do the last double crochet. We skip the first and we skip the last. Okay, meet you at the end. Okay everyone, so we're going to work on the flower now. So hopefully you have your 8 flowers ready. If not, you need to go and create them. So the first thing we want to do is work in the middle of the 7 chain. Right in the center, we're going to create a single. Like that, right in the center of the middle of the 7 chain we did here on the little leaf. Tighten up a little bit here, we don't want this too loose. We're going to do chain 1 and we're going to come in where we have our single here that we did, right between the leaves. Trying to hide my thread. So we're going to create 2 groups of 2 double crochet in the same space. Chain 2 and again 2 more double crochet. Still trying to hide my little thread here. Chain 1, coming into the center of my leaf, single, chain 1, coming in between the leaves, we have the single here that we closed in, and doing the groups again. So this row will be about groups all the way around. 2 double crochet, 2 chain, and 2 more double crochet in the same space. 1 chain, come in the center of the leaf, single. Okay. We'll fix the leaves after. It's not important right now. So I'll meet you at the end. Okay, you guys, so I finished doing the tutorial and I wanted to come right at the beginning and let you know that once you're doing the flowers, okay, when you get there, and you're going to have 2 rows that you're going to add in. Now, for this size, okay, 9 rows, if your stitch is too tight, it's going to pull too much. You better do 3 rows on the flower in order to give it more space to attach them. If you're doing the small doily with Aunt Lydia number 10, let's say a smaller thread, then do only 6 rows, okay? Or thicker thread, it doesn't matter. If you want to make, I should say, if you want to make a smaller doily, do only 6 rows. That includes with the collar already in. That's your 6th row, let's say, okay? And you only do 1 row around the flower of the cream color. If you want to do 2, you can go ahead. But it will tend to pull a bit. Normally, when you're going to do, let's say for the people that are doing the 2 rows, it's going to pull a bit. But once you go and continue the pattern and finish up you know, the whole thing, then it's going to lay out perfect. Don't forget to either spray it with the softener, the laundry softener, like I have told you guys. That's how I do it. I spray it, put it in the surface, stretch it with my hands, and let it dry naturally. So I just wanted to let you know. And in case you want to go bigger, so instead of having 8, okay, you can go 10. Just add 2 more of these into your stitches. Obviously we have 16, that means you would have to add more here. You can go 12, you can go 14 by adding more. You have to add more into the center in order to fit the motifs, because we have 8 motifs, right? And we have 16 here, so you would need to add, if you're adding more, so you would have to add more into it in order to get your 10, 12, and then you can make your pattern bigger. You can go bigger. Instead of 9 rows, you can go 12 rows, and it will be perfect. Okay, just a little reminder, if it pulls too much, do 3 rows on the flower and not 2 rows only. You'll see what I mean when you get there, and you complete the flower in order to be attached, because it's on the second row that we attach the flowers already together. Okay, so just a little reminder for you. By the way, this is 58 centimeters. I just measured it in. That means all around. So I've reached the end. I'm going to come in where I started my single with a slip stitch. I'm going to do chain, 1 chain, come back in and do a single. 1 chain, come back in and create 3 double crochets, 2 chain, and 3 more. 1 chain. I'm going to come in again where I have my single and create a single. 1 chain and create my 2 groups of 3 double crochet with 2 chain. Now we're going to attach on the next one. We're going to start to attach onto the pattern. So create your 3. Grab any one back to back, single, and create your 3 again. One chain, single, and create your groups again. Then you can cut your thread and go on to the next flower. So next flower, we're going to attach 2 and 2. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. Everyone, so I finished my flower, tucked in my loose ends, and created my second flower already. We're going to attach it in 3 places, here and here. So it's the 2 closest to the pattern and the one after, and one on the pattern right at the edge. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do my last one here because I know I have 3 attachments. I'm going to do my 3 double crochets. I'm going to come on this one here because I have to attach on both, so I'm going this way. back to back, single, 3 double crochets, 1 chain, come into this, the single with the single, 1 chain, 3 more double crochets. Now, if you realize, for people that are mixing colors, I'm alternating my multicolored green and the simple one color green, okay? I'm coming in my next place to attach. Then I turn my pattern. Create your 3 double crochets, 1 chain, come where you have your single, 1 chain, and your 3 double crochets. You're going to attach in the next space on the pattern, single, come back, create your group of 3, double crochet, 1 chain, come into your single, slip stitch, and we're going to cut it. We're going to do all 8 this way. And we're going to continue to attach on the 2 space and on the pattern, all 8 of them. But on the last one, don't cut your thread. We're going to proceed to continue to work around the flower. I'll meet you at the end once I have my 8 in. Okay, everyone, remembering that the last one we have 5 places to attach the flower, the centerpiece, and the other flower here. So this is my 8th one. No different than what we've been doing. So attach yours same way, and then we're going to attach it on the other flower also. Okay, everyone, so I've attached to my flower, I've attached to the pattern, and I'm going to attach to the flower here. So very simple, nothing to it, and we're continuing to do the pattern from here. We're not cutting our thread. So continue to do your attachment, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much have it all attached. Now, once it's all attached, it feels like, because it's, you know, such a round, it feels like it's pulling in a little bit. If you notice, it's starting, right? But no worries, because the next rounds is going to straighten them out, okay? So I've closed in with my slip stitch. Now I'm going to do 1, 2, because we're at the edge here, right? So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. That's 3 for double crochet and 2 for space. Now, for some of you that have a very tight stitch, you can do 3 for space, okay? So we're pretty much continuing. Actually, I'm almost making a mistake here. Good heavens. Okay, so you do your 5 chain. Skip the first one, going to the second. Exactly as we were doing to the beginning of the pattern. And do your double crochets. Come into the center. Create 2 double crochets, 2 chain, and 2 more double crochets, double crochet over double crochet. We don't do the first and we don't do the last. Okay, so we're going to have 4 double crochets. Chain 1. I'm going to come in the center where we have the single and create a double crochet. Chain 1 again. Now if your stitch is too loose, don't even do a chain. Just go directly like we did from the pattern. I'm doing a chain 1 because since it's pulling a bit, we need to give it space to breathe, right? And we continue to do the same thing as we did. The only thing that's going to change is in between flowers, going from one flower to the other. It's going to change up a bit, okay? Chain 1, come into your single and do your double crochet. Like that. Now, chain 2. We're going to come in the center here and do double crochet. Chain 2 and do again double crochet. So we're creating this little V. We're going to do this to all of them the same way. Chain 2. And we're coming in where we have the single here and create double crochet. Chain 1 and skip the first double crochet and go into the second and create your groups again of double crochet. So we're creating our 4 double crochets and we're going to repeat this all the way around the same way. 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 2 double crochet, all in the same space. Okay, chain 1, where we have the front posts on the flower, we do the front posts, okay? So basically everywhere we have front posts on the flower, we continue to do front posts. Okay, we didn't do it like down here, obviously, because we, actually it's a single, no, it's a front post, isn't it? Or is it a single? No, it's a single and I did a front post. Oh my God, I was getting confused. Yes, we're supposed to do front post. And I went right over it. It doesn't matter, it doesn't change anything. So where we have the single, we have to do front posts. Let's try that again. Sometimes I just can't get it together, can I? But we will, eventually. Okay, chain 1. So we have the single, I'm doing front post. But if you're comfortable doing single, like doing directly on top of the single, that's fine too. It's not going to change anything. I think I better put a little bit of light on. Okay, I think that looks much better, doesn't it? So, where we have the singles front post. This one, I completely forgot about it, and this one too. But no biggie, no problem. We continue to do them now. It's not like it changes anything, right? Chain 1, going to skip 1 double crochet, and we're going to do the 4 double crochet. 1 per space, and 2 inside of the middle here. Chain 2, create your 2 double crochet, and create your other 2 double crochet, 1 per space. Chain 1. Now we have the single. We're going to do a front post. chain 2, coming into the center here between the flowers, double crochet, chain 2. We're creating those V's, and then double crochet again, chain 2. We have the other front post here. We're going to the single, we're going to create a front post, double crochet, chain 1, and continue on. So where we have all these singles, we do front posts. Just going to show you in a second. Okay, so front posts, 2 chain, double crochet in the center between flowers, 2 chain, front post, and 1 chain in between them, because we are increasing here, so we don't need to do 2 chain unless your stitch is extremely tight. Okay, continue to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, so I've reached the end. I've closed in my 5 chain that we went up on the third one. I'm going to do again 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 chains, sorry. 3 would be for double crochet and 1 for space. Coming and skipping the first double crochet. We're going to repeat exactly the same thing as we just did. 1 per space, skipping the first double crochet and skipping the last 2 in the center. So it's just a repeat of we just finished doing. Okay, I'll meet you here so I can show you, okay? So basically we continue to do the double crochets, 2 chain space, skip the first one, the last one, 1 chain, front post, and continue on. We're here in between the flowers. I did my 1 chain, my 2 chain, I'm coming in and doing again the V, 2 chain space again, 2 chain, front post. So it's just a repeat, 1 chain, and continue to do your double crochets by skipping the first one and the last one. Two inside of the space. So basically you're going to have 5 double crochets. Okay everyone, so I finished my row. I closed in with a slip stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to continue to do the motifs here, skipping the first double crochet, two chain, 2 more in the same space. Nothing changes on this here, only at the between the flowers. One chain, front post, 1 chain, and continue. Okay, so I'll meet you right here between flowers. Okay, so now we're going to do 1 chain. We're going to come into the center with a single, 1 chain, and front post. We're going to do this all the way around, 1 chain, and continue to do your groups as we've been doing. So that's the only change, okay? So single now, 1 chain only. I'll meet you at the end. Okay everyone, so I've reached the end where we have the double crochet. I'm going to do the walk, I call it the walk. So we're going to skip the first double crochet, go into the second, and create our motif here. It's always the same thing with the motifs, just 2 inside of the space, 2 chain, and 2 more in the same space. Okay, so we're going to continue to do the front posts. I'll meet you here between the flowers. So I've arrived between the flowers. I'm going to go front post on the next one. And that's the only change we have. So 1 chain, and we go into the second double crochet and create our motif. This row will be like this all the way around, and the next row is the last row. I'm coming in with the probably green, I'm not sure yet. Okay, everyone, so I'm coming in with the lime green or fluorescent green, whatever you want to call it. Now this is going to be very simple. You can start anywhere, by the way. So I'm going to start anywhere. So I'll start here. Don't forget you have to skip that the first double crochet. Okay, so singles. This row will be all singles all the way to the end. Coming inside of the center, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And either you can close it as a picot or come directly right in with a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come right in and close it with a single, or close it on your first one as a picot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm making these little leaves at the edges here. And then 1 per space. I think I'm going to do all of them. I'm not going to skip the first or the last, so I'll come around and I'll do this one. I think it will look much nicer. I'm going to come in and do a single in that space there. And I'm going to come and do another single in the space between the front posts here. Another single here. Single here. And we continue on. So pretty much this is it. Now, there's another option you can do. You can skip directly from here to there if you want. Show you. That's an option to do. It's up to you. So we do the last single here, and then we'd go directly into the first one here, like that. And that can be closed in. I think it looks nice that way too. I think I'll do it this way. But you can do the other way too, as I was doing. If it's pulling too much on your pattern, then do the other way that I first did. 1 single inside of the space. But if it's not pulling, then you're okay to go. I like it this way. So there's several options you can do. Okay, so single in the center, 3, 4, 5, chain 5, come back in, and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you're having this as the centerpiece, just a little reminder to you, and you want to do the 2 small side ones, you don't do all these rows. You just do up until row 6. So your 6th row would be the colored one already. And you only do 1 row of these on the flower and not 2 rows. If it's pulling too much, then do 3 rows on the flower. so your pattern can stay comfortably and not crumpling up. Okay, so again, single, single, single. So nothing too very simple. All the way to the end. Come to the last one. We're going to jump directly into the next double crochet. So this is pretty much it for this tutorial. I'll have it in display at the end. I want to thank every single one of you so much. Please give a thumbs up if you liked it. Share. It's very important. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'll be more than glad to create it for you. And please consider helping the women in need. Thank you so much, everybody. I send you much love, much hugs. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. Till next time. Bye-bye.